Hello, Meow Mentors. It's Cat Lady Justin. And this is the Kitty Boss, where we pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love. Today, I have a very special guest. Julianne Thorne is a psychologist, cat mom, holistic cat therapist, intuitive, author, Reiki master, and certified behaviorist. She founded Naturally Cats to provide holistic help for cats and their guardians. Using a combination of environmental enrichment, healing, soul connection, behavior modification, and botanical remedies, she supports cats emotionally to reduce and remove problem behaviors. She helps to educate feline guardians so they can provide for their cat and watch them thrive rather than simply survive. She connects with the family through the perspective of their cat, and reconnecting the cat with their guardian is a key element of her work. She has recently co-authored the first book of its kind, The Aromatic Cat, which details how to use herbs, hydrosols, and essential oils safely with cats. Julianne believes that understanding the emotional state of a cat is key to supporting problem behaviors, and that through using botanical remedies, the cat's wellness can be balanced, which in turn affects its behavior. Julianne uses a holistic approach when working with a cat, looking at all elements that can affect it, such as, but not limited to, diet, nutrition, environment, resources, and family relationships. Her mission is giving cats a voice, and that's a hashtag. So giving cats a voice. So please help me to welcome Julianne Thorne from Naturally Cats. I am honored and grateful that you are joining us today. Welcome, Julianne.
Hello, Justin and everyone. Thank you very much for having me. I am thrilled to be here and to be, as you said, giving cats a voice.
Yeah, and you know what's really awesome is that we really connected through a mutual contact in the whole cat world, which is kind of like what this is all about. And it's very similar to another occasion that happened to me, quite magical actually. So a few weeks ago, I was speaking to one of my friends and contacts, and she was like, "Have you heard of this particular company called Two Crazy Cat Ladies?" And I was like, "No, what do they do?" And all of a sudden, I discover that there exists products out there which are all natural. You could eat them and spray them, and it won't kill you. It won't hurt your cat, and they're effective. Everything from fleas. Anyway, so we're not here to sell them. Although, last time I did, because I'm now a huge fan of this. My cats are on several of these remedies, and they're doing so well, and even better than they were doing before, because I no longer need to poison them with flea medicine and worming medicine and all that kind of stuff, because there are actual safe, effective, and natural alternatives. So I was like, where has this been all my life? And then not long ago, somebody, I was, on Instagram, and I saw a post and a comment and all this, and I was like, oh, what's this Naturally Cats thing? And so I then go and stalk your profile, and I was like, whoa, what's this? Okay, this is really cool, because while I like science, and I definitely see the vet once a year and make sure that my cats are healthy and taken care of, I'm a huge fan of various complementary, because I don't say alternative, because they're not instead of proper treatment for your vet. They're complementary. They work hand in hand. In many cases, they work a lot better, to be honest with you. That's my opinion. So when I find out that, everything from Reiki to herbs to all these things, I was like, where have you been all my life? So it's just a series of these wonderful events and coincidences of connecting with people of like mind, which I think is so amazing. It's not the law of attraction. It's the law of cat traction. So that's how I like to put it.
Brilliant.
Because the story, I think I told you the story. I had some Reiki done on me a few times, many years ago now. And it was from another Reiki master who was doing it on me. And she noticed, and I noticed, that the cats were like, almost not letting us do the session. And I was like, what's going on there? And she explained to me how the energy works with cats and how females dissipate the energy. Males tend to hold on to it, which is why male cats sometimes have more health problems than females. But that the reason they're doing this is because they're trying to help. They're trying to help heal. areas where they sense negative energy. So I think that's amazing. We talked about the scientific stuff already many times on this show, where the frequency of the purr, the vibration of the purr, has now been shown in many university studies to lower cortisol levels and to reduce stress levels in humans. And I say, now that's got to be miraculous. What other animal, insect, or in this planet, vibrates and heals you? I don't know of any other one. So that's a more scientific thing because those have been studied at universities. The flip side to that is the energetic and spiritual side, and it's a flip side. It's the same coin. So it's absolutely complementary. There is no conflict. There is no science versus. It's not like that. It's just we have two routes to knowledge. One goes this way and one goes this way. Often we actually arrive at the same conclusion. Now, it's been my observation that all the intuitive, spiritual connection often arrives at the answer faster. So things that are centuries old are now being proven scientifically, like the vibration of the purr. That was a mystical thing 400 years ago, which they then got rid of and were like, it's mumbo jumbo. But then, of course, 400 years later, science is proving that, well, actually, it's true. So often, this route to knowledge is faster, but that lends itself to being a little bit too fast. And then the credulity of people, meaning they just don't believe it. But that's been my experience and my observation. So, like I said, I'm honored and grateful for having you to join us. And I'd like to find out, first and foremost, how you got started with this whole thing. Because obviously you're a cat person like me, so we know that. But how you got started in aiming your holistic healing and all of these tools at cats, because it's quite unique.
Thank you, Justin. Yes. So I had my very first cat, Pickle, when I left university. My family had always had cats, so I'd always grown up with them. And when I finished university, I wanted my very own. I waited 4 months for her to find me, to come to me, and we got her from a rescue centre. And to cut a really long story short, I had her for 13 years. And she was incredibly poorly. She suffered from diabetes. We had pancreatitis, irritable bowel syndrome, gingivitis. We suffered a lot together. And as you mentioned before about complementary and alternative, she led me to train in different modalities. So when we were going to our vets, there was always a medication for a symptom, and I didn't feel that I was giving her the best care. I felt like there was more to help her, more to heal her. So I did a diploma in animal healing. I did my Reiki qualifications. I did a diploma in feline self-selection and animal communication. She led me to all of it. After every course, every module, every lesson, every learning, her and I would take a step forward in her health and well-being. But it was just a step. It was like never the end. And don't get me wrong, I believe that you're always learning. But for her and for it was a path. It was a journey we went on together. And I used all those modalities alongside her veterinary care. We couldn't get her off insulin, so we had to blood check her. We gave her regular insulin. She also had Reiki regularly, and the Reiki impacted her blood sugar levels. So I'll never forget, there was this one day, and we were sat on the sofa together. I had my hands on her tummy. All of a sudden, they started to get warm. So she was drawing Reiki through me. And about 20 minutes, 40 minutes later, I checked her blood glucose. We would prick her ear, and her blood glucose was 5.6. And we'd never been able to get it below 12. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So I was always looking for someone like me. Back when I had her, I was looking for someone that would do complementary treatments, healing, energy work, herbs, essential oils, treatments and remedies that could support the Western approach, the Western medicine. I have a great relationship with my vet. It's taken me a long time to get to where I am with her now. And we've had different vets throughout the years. I'm not anti-vet, I am pro-vet, but I do think you need to have a good relationship with your vet. So she understands that I feed raw. She understands that I use complementary treatments with my cats now. But with Pickle, we didn't have that. We didn't have good relationships. And again, it was a lot of learning. So I decided when Pickle came to the end of her journey with me and she was put to sleep, to bring all of my teachings together. And I created Naturally Cats. And another part of the journey with her is that I realized it's not just about the cat, it's about the guardian as well. My dear sweet boy Leo has been poorly recently, and I am taking a lot of lessons from this situation, from his health, from the circumstance. So Naturally Cats is about holistic healing, as you said, for cats and their guardians, because it's about trying to help the whole family. It's about trying to bring the two species together, cats and humans. It's almost like I'm an interspecies kind of translator. I can speak cat, I can feel cat's energy, their frequency, I can feel their emotions in me, their energy, and I can relay that to their guardians. Hello, gorgeous pussycat
The
on
birthday girl has
screen.
come to say hi.
Hello, gorgeous.
It's her birthday today, so I can't neglect her.
No, absolutely not. Happy birthday, beautiful one. So yeah, it was a Pickle. She inspired me to create this this brand, this movement, and to use my voice to help give cats a voice.
That's really cool. That's amazing, because that is you using your life experience, your experience with your cats and everything. And it's almost like it was your destiny, as they say in Star Wars. It was like the
Yes.
cat was drawn to you, and you learned the lessons from the cat. It wasn't the healthiest cat in the world, but you did it and developed a whole business really around it to help so many other people to do that. So I think that's pretty
Mm,
cool. That's awesome.
mm.
And Charlotte was listening to most of that, and I don't know if you heard her meowing for attention. So then I let her have her little screen time and her minutes of
Beautiful.
fame, and now she's happy and content and over there. So anyway, that's really cool, as a way to start this and do
Mm.
this. So if people want to find out more information or potentially look at the different products and services you have, I'd like to encourage them to go to the website that's on the screen, but I'll spell it because a lot of people, most people probably, will actually be listening to this on the podcast. So it's www.naturallycats.co.uk. So I'll spell it for your benefit, or for anyone who has difficulties with spelling. It's naturallycats.co.uk, naturallycats.co.uk, because that's what it's all about. Now, you have several things that you do with cats, and so one of them is services. So you have services that you can offer people, that, like you said, cats and or their guardians. So you can. So I've seen on your website you have things that are only for the cat. Healing sessions. You have sessions that incorporate the guardian and their energy into it, which is probably the best way to go. And then I saw that you have some things to focus on the guardian as well. So these services are, uh, if you can just talk a little bit about them. I know there's some Reiki involved. And if you could
Mm.
tell us really quickly what Reiki is, because I know what it is and I've had sessions, but I'm sure most, if maybe not most, but a lot of people listening or watching won't actually know what that is. They're like, oh, it sounds interesting, but what is it? So if you could tell us briefly what it is, and then how does it work with cats, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure. I think that's a great question, because a lot of people are familiar with the word Reiki, but they're not always aware of what it is. So, Reiki is a system to be able to use universal energy, and to be able to channel it through ourselves. It generally comes out of the hands. So people get attuned, which means that they are able to let me go back a stage. We are all made of energy, and every being vibrates at a certain frequency. And in fact, everything is made of energy. So even my bookcase, even though it's static, it is actually vibrating if you looked at it under a microscope. So everything is made of energy, and we have the capacity to manipulate that energy. And that's what Reiki does. So Reiki is about channeling the universal energy. So it comes through us, and it usually comes out of the hands onto or around another being. So it's not our energy. If I'm working with a cat, I'm not giving them my energy. The universal energy of Reiki comes through me, and it helps the cat. So Reiki is about doing good. It is about healing and raising the vibration, shifting negative energy of the being. So that could be an animal, it could be a human, It could be a lampshade. If you've got a lot of people use Reiki on electronics if they've stopped working. So Reiki is really the mechanism used to manipulate energy. And I don't mean manipulate in a negative way. I mean to move, to shift, to heal, to help. That's what Reiki is. And how that works with cats is, like I said, you can do it with humans, you can do it with any being. The way that I do it, I offer a range of services, as Justin said. So I work with the humans, I do one-to-one sessions with them, which is a mixture of, journaling, talking, so a bit of sort of like counseling. We do energy works and meditations, chakra cleanses, to help them deal with whatever it is they're working through. Generally, people will come to me for healing help, for human healing, once they've worked with their cat. So people come to me to help their cat, whether they've got a physical issue, for example, they're unhealthy, or like diabetes, let's say, or they've got a behavioral problem. So if the cat is over grooming on their tummy, and what will happen is we will use one of my services for cats, which is generally either a cat communication session or a cat chakra cleanse and rebalance. And those two really are about, I'm able to connect with the frequency. Remember, I mentioned a moment ago, everything has a frequency. It's like when you tune a radio and you listen to certain stations, you have to tune the radio to find that frequency, to find that radio station. That's what I do with cats. So through a picture, I am able to connect with that frequency of that cat. And because I'm an intuitive and an empath, I am able to feel in my body their chakras. I'm able to feel their emotions. And then I basically, once I've connected with them, I'll ask questions if it's a cat communication session, or I will work through their 7 main chakras to clear, cleanse, and rebalance their energy. And then I share all of that with the guardian. And generally what happens is the cat will have messages in some shape or form, whether it's the cat communication session, whether it's working with remedies, or if it's the cat chakra cleanse. What invariably happens is the cat may have an energy or an emotional imbalance, but it's connected to the human. It's to do with the human, and it may come from the human. It may be because of the human, because we really heavily impact our cat's energy. We affect their chakras, we affect their aura, which is the energy field around their body. So I'm able to basically clear it, to cleanse it, and to bring the two together. So when I share my work with the guardian and say, for example, I worked with a cat who was particularly aggressive with her guardian, and her guardian said to me, can you do some work with her? I just, she's got to stop biting me. And what we realized is that actually the cat was grieving. She was grieving for a litter of kittens. I won't go into the full details. And when I shared this with the guardian, she broke down in tears and said to me, oh my goodness, I just thought she was being really grumpy and really moody. I didn't realize her heart was breaking. And in that moment, the guardian was able to switch her perspective with the cat, to feel more compassion, to feel more love, to understand that there are emotions going on in her cat that she needed to support. So they did a grieving ritual. They did a moment where they spent time, visualizing the kittens, sending them love, and both the human and the cat were able to heal. I had an email a week later saying, oh my goodness, our relationship has completely changed since we did the ritual. She's been on the bed with me. We're having cuddles every day. She's purring every day. So as Justin mentioned with my bio, with my introduction, we think that our cats are being grumpy, miserable, aggressive, but behind every problem behavior, there is an emotional cause. And my job, which I absolutely love to do, is to be able to understand, to figure out, to find out from the cat, what is that cause, and to share that with the guardian. And then generally, once we've done some energy and emotional work with the cat, the human turns to me and says, I think I need more help. Can you give me more support? So then I'm able to work with them one-to-one as well. So it's really about, as we said, helping to bring the two species together. Cats, to me, they're not just pets. They are teachers, they are family. And, if we pay attention to the lessons that they're sharing with us, we can learn a lot from them.
Oh, that's for sure. I agree with that. One interesting thing you said that often it's linked to the human and all that. It reminds me when I had some energy work done many years ago, well before we met. There was a interesting phenomenon that happened, which is that as soon as I had my work done, the cats went like berserk, like they started like fighting each other, and I'm like, and they didn't normally do that, so it
Mm.
was really weird. So I had to ask her if she could do anything for cats, and it turns out she could do things for pets as well. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to buy a session for that. But then from now on, when we do our sessions, can we please like divide the time and make sure that we leave like a good 10-15 minutes for the cats, because this is going to just continue to happen. Because it was like a light switch as soon as she did the session, and she did it all remotely. She just messaged me and say, okay, I've done your cat session, and it was like a switch. The cats were just back to normal. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So our state absolutely affects them,
Yeah.
good or bad. So it's really important, I think, that we take that into account, that when we work with any kind of energy, it's really important to actually work on ourselves and the cats, because we affect each other. It's something that I've noticed that I think is really important. Somebody said, "Happy birthday, beautiful girl." So Leslie, thank you so much for wishing Charlotte a happy birthday. She definitely is a beautiful girl, and she knows it, and she leverages that all the time. And yeah, it's her birthday. So that's what I basically wanted to say in regards to that, because it's very, very important. Now, in addition to these services that you do for humans, for cats, for both, I noticed you also have some products, and I should have brought it with me, the bag, but I just got in the post the cat herb garden, the herb garden. So I'm looking forward to using that today or tomorrow. I'll try it out with my babies. So could you tell us a little bit about the actual products that you have available that are so cool?
Yeah, sure. So
Oh,
this is
before you do that, Leslie says, "I saw your video singing to her." Yes, I shared on my stories or reels or whatever. I shared a video of me where I just found her under under the chair, and I just sang "Happy Birthday" to Charlotte.
Oh, that is so
So yeah,
cute.
so thank you for watching that and bringing that to attention. If anyone's curious to see if Justin is a singer and how that, that looks, you can definitely find it on our social media at Justin Dunn, or sorry, at Cat Lady Justin on Instagram or Facebook or all over the place. And I shared it. I shared the video everywhere, so you can hear me singing, and I can sing a little bit. I'm not great, but I ain't too bad. So worth watching. All right, so let's talk about Naturally Cats again, and the actual products that people can get there and discover there, and try and see what that works like.
Sure. So I felt really drawn after our call to send you a garden for Charlotte and Emily. So I will be really excited to hear how they get on with it. So this is something that will be coming out in a few weeks. So it's a Christmas selection box. So basically, what happens is you get a package, and this is a herb garden, and inside there are some smaller packages. Hang on a second, of herbs basically. So you get different packages which contain organic herbs and flowers. So a herb garden is when you put down a towel or a blanket somewhere nice and quiet in the home. So not in the front room, not at the bottom of the stairs, somewhere where there isn't very much foot traffic, because when cats work with remedies, they need to feel vulnerable. They need to feel vulnerable to heal. And cats, because they're predator and prey, don't always lean into that very quickly. So putting your herb garden in a nice quiet area of the home is the first step. Then basically you get each of the packages and you put a really good pinch in each of the four corners of the piece of fabric. So the premise is it's all to do with self-selection. Now, cats know what they need to heal. They have the innate capacity to know which remedies will work with them to heal their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So we're all aware of how most cats like catnip. Some cats, it makes them go crazy. Some cats, it makes them quite sleepy. And these herbs and flowers are no different. So, I'm sure you've had moments when you've had peppermint tea or chamomile tea if you're quite stressed or you've got a bit of an upset tummy. it is exactly the same with our cats. So, for example, in the Calming Christmas selection box, there's chamomile, there's valerian, there's St. John's wort. Now, a mixture of these remedies will help your cat to deal with anxiety. So, as Justin mentioned, I've got 10 individual gardens that have all got 6 herbs and flowers in. So, I've got a garden for anxiety, aggression, I've got a digestion one, I've got one for pain. So, I've already gone through my book and worked out the herbs and flowers that will help your cat if they're dealing with anxiety, if they've got an upset tummy. And basically you put them down and you let the cat do what they need to. So some cats will sit and rub and roll around on them. They'll turn the whole garden upside down and you'll have herbs and flowers everywhere. Other cats may just sit near them or sit on them and just literally all tucked under, quite in a little loaf shape, quite still. It depends on the personality of the cat. It depends who else is around, and it depends how they feel. All of that is unique to each cat. So as I said, there is no one size fits all. It's not a question of put it down and your cat will do X, Y, or Z. It really depends on what they need. But with the herb gardens, basically, they're a great way to give your cat an emotional support tool. It's a wonderful opportunity to give them the capacity to heal themselves. So, you know, a lot of us keep our cats indoors, or they're indoors some of the time. We've got other animals in the home, you know, and as Justin said, a lot of our cats take on our energy. So by using herbs and flowers, you're able to give the cat the capacity to deal with their emotions themselves. But also the healing properties of each remedy is just wonderful. They all have a unique vibration. So sometimes some cats will be with the valerian root. Yes, it smells very strong, very pungent. And they may just need the energy of that root, you know, that remedy. Valerian root is very grounding. It helps with anxiety. It might just help to bring the cat's stress levels down just from sitting on it. So it really is that simple. You don't need to do a load of prep. You don't need to buy a load of stuff. I have the gardens. I have 10 different gardens. And also I do a superb selection box. So I've got 20 different herbs and flowers in my shop that are across the 10 gardens. And, you know, if you're interested in self-selection, you can get a copy of the book from my site. You can get the superb selection box and you can give it a go. You know, you can't get it wrong. The one thing to mention is you never add it to food. So these are not supplements. This is not to supplement the diet. There is no nutritional value here. If the cats ingest them, that's what they need to do. And it's not because they're hungry. They are ingesting the healing properties. So for example, with peppermint, if your cat ingests peppermint, they need the soothing effect on their digestion system. And the same with the other remedies, all of which you can find in the Aromatic Cat book. And it's really about giving cats a voice. You know, my services and my products are all aimed at being complementary and about giving cats a voice. So enabling them to use what they need to heal, show you what they need to work with. If you go and see, for me, if I go and see Leo sitting on the valerian root, I know that he's feeling a bit stressed. So I need to be aware of my energy. I might meditate. I might make sure we've got no guests coming for the weekend. So it can be a really good tool to give an indication to you of how your cat's feeling. So as Justin said, head to the website, www.naturallycats.co.uk. If you visit the shop tab, you'll be able to see all the different gardens that you can use. And like I said, grab a towel, find a quiet space, put some herbs and flowers in each corner and, you know, job done. And then you can leave it to your cat to see what they need to do.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to using the herb garden that you sent me, and thank you again for sending that. And see what we get with my Emily and my Charlotte, and I'll put 2 down because I know you have to. They're separate, and it's also very good to reiterate that these are not herbs to sprinkle in their food or water or anything. They're not for supplementation. They're for energy, and but it's also worth noting that they're not toxic to cats because I know that some herbs and certainly essential oils can be too much for a cat. And some plants, of course, are not necessarily known as being, you know, healthy for the cat and might have a level of toxicity for it. This is different. There is a concept that some people might be familiar with, or maybe not, for humans, and they call it hormesis. Hormesis is when you ingest a very tiny amount of something that's, you know, normally kind of poisonous, but it does you good. Or it's exposure to something that could be dangerous, for example, heat or cold, but you do it in such a way that's controlled and at specific times that it's actually good for you. So when you do the sort of, sweating and being exposed to too much heat, as long as you're not overdoing it and ending up, passing out and dehydrated, it's a great way to detox. The cold is, some people take ice baths, cold showers, hot and cold showers. And this is, again, I mean, you're not doing it to the point of getting frostbite and dying. You're doing it to the point of stimulating the immune system, stimulating the metabolism. And a lot of people lose weight that way. I do that kind of thing, and cold showers and stuff. And so it's really good for you to sometimes understand that in the context of what the cat needs, that herb that may not be in the front, something that the cat should be eating on a daily basis. It may be have a slight level of toxicity. It's not in this context. In this context, it's the energy that they need. And even if they lick it or ingest it, it won't hurt them as long as it's done in the controlled setting of the herb garden and the herbs that are organic without pesticides on them, organic that are laid out the way Julianne teaches. So I think it's important to make that distinction in case anybody is aware of the fact that maybe some of them are not necessarily something you want to be giving your cat every day to eat. So these are not for eating, and these are for absorbing the energy of the cat. And if they do nibble on it a little bit, it's because that particular thing will do them good in that context at that time. So it's not because they've eaten it once that you now need to feed that to them on a daily basis. Because remember, these herbs in the garden are not for sprinkling in the food. It's because they needed it now. And they may need it again in the future, but it doesn't mean you need to now obsessively overdose your cat on valerian or whatever it is that they've licked or nibbled on in that context. So it's just a little distinction, but all the instructions are available as soon as you buy one. I saw there's details. And of course, Julianne's book, which is available on her website, will have much more great encyclopedic level knowledge of these herbs and how to use them. So if anybody here is a reader, then I definitely encourage getting a copy of the Aromatic Cat. So is it available anywhere else but your website?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can buy a signed copy from my website, but you can also get it on Amazon and
Okay.
all the big kind of places. It was just if people wanted a signed copy, they can get one from me. And like
Yeah.
you said, it talks about self-selection. So this, the distinction, like you said, Justin, is this isn't a supplement, it's self-selection. And self-selection means you give your cat the choice. You give your cat the opportunity to select what they need. And it's an indication. Like I said, if you see your cat using using their herb garden, you can take a moment to look at what it is they're working with. So if, as we said, one garden down per cat. So if you've got 2 cats, 2 blankets, 2 different places, you might put, say, down some remedies on one that are calming, and you might put some remedies down on another that are to support digestion. And if you go and see your cat sit with the peppermint, perhaps they're a little under the weather, or that food's not quite agreed with them. It can give you insights into what's going on with them. And it really is about letting the cat choose. So as humans, we have taken away a lot of their freedom. We have gathered a lot of control over our cats, what we feed them, when we feed them, where they can go, and bringing in self-selection means you have the opportunity to give your cat autonomy over their life, their feelings, their emotions, their health. And, so for example, Justin mentioned about lavender, mentioned about toxicity. Now, when you're using self-selection principles, something is only toxic if you administer it and the cat does not need it. So with self-selection, you let the cat choose, you let the cat self-select, they select what they need. If you start to add anything to their food or start to force a remedy on them, like with humans, if we don't need it, it's going to be toxic. So if I started taking a tablet every day that I didn't need, eventually I would have some form of toxicity in my body. And it's the same with cats. So if we're constantly administering remedies and they don't need it, or we're forcing it on them, it can prove toxic. So lavender has got a mixed rap on the internet. Some places say it's toxic for cats. Some places say that it's safe. I say that it's safe as long as you're using self-selection principles. If you keep adding it to your cat's food or putting your cat in the lavender bush, it could be toxic to them. But if you've got a cat that is ingesting it or rubbing against it, that's what they need. There are healing properties in that remedy that the cat is trying to use. So again, you can look it up. In the Aromatic Cat, we've got 40 different botanical profiles, one of which is lavender. We talk about how to use it to support emotional issues, behavior issues. We also talk about why cats will ingest. Now, generally speaking, cats don't ingest remedies. 98% of the time, they use it via inhalation. And as Justin said, they use it for the energy. But there are instances when cats do ingest, and we need to trust that they're doing what they need. We talk about essential oils in the book as well, how to use them safely. And that's a whole other topic. And I know that Justin and I are aware of the time we've talked for quite a while so far. So I may come back if he invites me back to talk about essential oils with cats, but you can use them safely. It is about using self-selection principles and being guided by your cat.
That's great. Yeah, I think we will definitely have a follow-up episode where we can do a deeper dive into these topics like essential oils. And for example, what's the difference between that and the hydrosols? And so some people are like, well, what's that? It's like a milder type of essential oil. It's not really an essential oil, but it's a similar idea behind it. And so, but today it was almost just like an introduction to naturally cats, to the concept, to what it is that you do, and to you, Julianne, as a person. So you can go to, Amazon and look up Julianne Thorne, or look up the Aromatic Cat, and you'll find a copy of her book. Or you can go to her website, naturallycats.co.uk, and get a lovely signed copy of the book and that way. And probably that's, if you want to be really nice about it, that's probably the better place to go get the book, because then she gets most of the revenues from the book, as opposed to surrendering most of it to Amazon, which anyone who's published anything on Amazon knows you don't really make a lot of money by putting your book on Amazon. But it's a great way, of course, to get a lot more people to it. But of course, if you're most comfortable on Amazon, go to Amazon and find it there for sure. Rather than not get it. But, if you can, go to naturallycats.co.uk and get a signed copy of the book, which is much nicer.
I have to say also, when people get it from me, I will always give a sample of a herb and a feather. So I collect feathers when I'm out for my walk. So if you get it from Amazon, you just get a little, a purchase order note. You don't get
Yeah.
the bonus bit. So I will generally put a herb in there for people to try, so they can try it with their cat, and a feather for a bit of fun.
Yeah, and my cats love the feathers, so pheasant feathers are like one of their favorite toys, and so now they have two extra ones when they bite through and destroy the other ones. So it's really thank you for throwing that in there. That's always really cool. My cats definitely love that kind of thing. So like you said, we are coming towards having talked for a lot of time, but I don't want to forget to tell people about this, which I'll put up on the screen now. Don't worry about it. It's far too long for me to read this out or for you to copy what you see on the screen. But I did post it in the comments. So if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching this on Facebook, then you'll see it in my comment. So you'll see and be able to see what I'm talking about. It is a link. And the reason I put the link there is because Julianne is going to be doing a live training, a course basically, on Monday. Now, if you're not watching this and you're listening to this, that's okay. I'll put it in the description, this link that you can copy, paste, or click. I don't know, depending on your platform, it'll either be clickable or it won't. So you figure that one out yourselves. But the cool thing is that it's Monday. Now, don't worry if you miss it. If you're listening to this or watching this and it's after Monday, September the 5th, then it's okay, because most of Julianne's courses, trainings, contents, bite-sized ones, are available on her website. And I'm sure this one will also be eventually put onto the website. So it's evergreen. You can listen to it anytime that you want to. It's not outlandishly expensive, so don't even worry about that. But tell us a little bit about what's this exciting little event that's coming up on Monday.
Lovely. So Starting on Monday the 5th, I will be doing an Introduction to Cat Chakra course. So it's a 4-week course, and it's essentially the opportunity for cat mums and dads to learn about cat chakras, to learn how to feel them, to heal them, and to work with their cats. So as I said, through Pickle, my mission of giving cats a voice, it's not just about people coming to me and me helping them with their cats. It's about me helping the guardian to take steps themselves to understand their cat's energy, to continue the healing work with them one-to-one. So the course is 4 weeks, and as Justin said, you'll be able to still join me a couple of days after the first module's gone. When the course is completed, it will be put online on the website, so you'll be able to purchase it and catch the replays. It's 4 weeks, it's 4 modules, and we're looking at the aura, the 7 main chakras for the cat. We'll look at how you clear, cleanse, and balance them, how you feel them, how you feel energy, how you can tell which problems are linked to which chakra. I'm going to be offering a couple of meditations throughout the course, which will help to open your own energy centers, one to help ground you, one to help open your heart, and one to help you call in energy. So even if you're not Reiki certified, if you've never done healing before, that's absolutely fine. You can still come and join me. This course is for everyone. We all have the capacity to channel the universal energy. It might just be that you need a little help, and that's what the course is for. For anybody that is Reiki attuned, you can still come and join me, because we'll be talking about how to feel each of the 7 chakras particularly. And as you're already aware of how to work with the energy, we're going to be talking about how that impacts your cat. So learning about Reiki for humans is one thing. Learning about it with cats is something different. And, I always believe that I am learning every single day. So I never profess to know all the answers. So I'm sure that if you are already aware of the cat chakra system, come and join me, because I'm sure that you'll learn something else. So it's starting on the 5th, and it's 8 p.m. UK time. So everybody that joins will be able to catch the replays. They'll be sent out 24 hours after each class. And it's really an opportunity to work with like-minded cat mums and dads. It will help you to connect with your intuition, help you to reconnect with yourself, and to bring on your own healing gifts. So we're going to do a couple of exercises about sensing energy, feeling energy, understanding the vibration. There's a little bit of homework after every module. So it's not just a question of turning up and watching me or listening to me talk at you. It's an interactive course, and it's about helping you to grow and develop your skills, your capacities to help you heal your cats.
That's awesome. And interesting. You reminded me of something, because I think I told you when we spoke privately that I like to do meditation. And so when I sit and meditate, my cats are drawn to me. So Emily will come and, sit on my lap. And I think it's really cool. But when Charlotte does that, they don't sit together on the lap. But when Charlotte comes instead of Emily, she actually aligns her chakras to mine. So Emily just traditionally sits on the lap normally, whereas Charlotte, the birthday girl, puts her root chakra near my root chakra and aligns herself, so our things are just in a straight line. And that's a really cool, if a bit funny, thing to do. So I rather enjoy that. I think it's kind of interesting the way she does that, and also the way Emily kind of doesn't do that. So I think it's a really cool, slightly mysterious thing, but it definitely is interesting the way my cats can sense when I'm meditating, and they'll come to me even if they're in the opposite end of the house. And so I live in a large house, and so if I'm upstairs in my room and the cats are 2 floors down in the living room, how do they know? They will know, and they're drawn to it. It's really a cool phenomenon that happens, but actually just goes to show you how much the cats are energetically sensitive. And in fact, if you remember the story, I think I mentioned to you of the meditating monk 400 years ago. At the beginning of the show, I kind of talked about 400 years. They had this mystical thing, and then that's that. So he developed a meditation with cats, and it was only because he loved his cats. So he'd always meditate with his cats. And so this mythology around the cats helping you to transcend and helping you reach higher states, built around nothing more than the other monks having seen the head of the monastery meditating with a cat. And they developed this mythology around them until a successor of his was allergic to cats, so he stopped doing that. And then everybody was like, "Well, wait a minute, that's probably not true. It's just a myth." It's also a pain to say that if they have 20 monks, we need 20 cats. So they just got rid of this cat meditation until recently, where science has proven that actually it's not a myth. They do reduce cortisol levels and reduce stress levels in humans, and of course, thereby enable you to transcend in a much better way when you're not stressed and you don't have cortisol flooding your body. So I think that it's to me, it's amazing how that story goes, and how it starts off as a random myth because somebody was a cat person, and then they dispel the myth, but then actually it's scientifically proven at the end. And so that's a really cool thing. And so today there does exist, if you look it up, a meditation that requires you to have a cat. So instead of focusing on the breath or the mantra or whatever it is, you're actually focusing on the cat. And there are definitely benefits to that. And it's something for you to discover on your own. I'm not necessarily promoting that style, but it's something I find super cool, obviously because I love cats. So this particular chakra course is not is kind of in alignment with these principles of the cats and meditation and the energies, and of course, most importantly, the connection that cats and humans, that you and your cat have. And in fact, there was one guy, I posted a picture of me and Charlotte and a picture of me and Emily, and he made a comment. He's since passed away, but he was an intuitive, an empath, just like you. And he says, are your cats your connection to source? Because you look so charismatic together. And I was like, you must be right, because and he did that just based on seeing how charismatic my cats and me looked together when I was holding them versus when we were just alone. So I was like, okay, they must be. And so there is something like that, and it's definitely a connection. And if you're someone like me and you're a cat magnet, then you walk around and you attract cats all the time. And anyone, you've seen me walking around. If you've seen my reels and stories on social media, you've seen that there's the little fluffy thing over there that's like a giant marshmallow, and then there's the black one that I see George, and then there's this. So I do sometimes record this cat spotting stuff, but your cats and you have an even more special connection because ostensibly they've chosen you, and you've chosen them and they've chosen you. So I think that's a really special thing.
The bond that we have with them, there is the physical connection, the emotional connection, but the spiritual connection is profound. And the first Wednesday of every month I offer a meditation class all online called Calm Cats, and it's called Calm Cats Meditation Class because I wanted people who are cat lovers to take time out, to take time to meditate, to be aware of their frequency and their energy. And it's been running now for over 12 months. And I have people say to me regularly, for example, there's one cat called Pino, and he always comes into the room when the class starts. He sleeps on the bed, and then as soon as I'm wrapping it up at the end of the meditation, he wakes up and he leaves. There's another cat called Zubin. As soon as he hears my voice when I welcome everybody, he settles down and goes to sleep on the bed. So and I say to people, like, if you bring your cat, great, generally they will come and join you when you, like you said, Justin, when you're in that meditation space or you're starting to get ready for it, because cats aren't just sentient, they are sensitive. So they're able to sense the change in your vibration from, like what you said, 2 or 3 floors away, because your vibration is infinite. It's not constrained to the room that you're in, although that's how we perceive it as humans. Cats can feel more than that. So when we meditate and we're aware of our energy and our vibration, it really does impact them in beautiful, beautiful ways, which is why meditation, there'll be 2 in this 4-week course, because I wanted people to understand, look at the difference of how you feel. What one of the exercises we do will be, tell me, write in the chat a word that you're feeling. And most people will generally write stressed, tired, busy. Then we'll do a meditation exercise. And then I ask them to write another word, and then they say, calm, relaxed, sleepy, happy, calm, and it is fascinating when we take the time to connect to our breath, how it impacts us. And like you said, you've seen it with your girls, how it impacts them. And I think that it's a tool that we're not using enough of. You know, we could use it more, and it would help us both, help us humans and help the cat. So that's one of the reasons why I hold the monthly classes, why it's part of the course, because I want to help people to do it, to feel better.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing. It's a wonderful thing for people to experience. I mean, you have to experience it. It's not something that is easily intellectually understood. It's something that's much better to feel and to actually have the experience of doing. And I think that's, that would be the best thing for most people. So I invite everybody to check out the Intro to Cat Chakra course. Yes, cats have chakras, and so just like humans, and interestingly enough, they for many decades, the quote unquote scientific community was poo-pooing things like chakras or meridians, because you do Reiki as well. So there's of course the acupuncture, acupressure meridians on the body. And for many decades, the scientific and medical community were poo-pooing it. They were saying it's not true, it's a myth, it's baloney, it's quack, it's junk science, it's not real, it's snake oil, it's not, it just doesn't exist. And then I think it was only oh gosh, I'm older than I look. It's now going back about 15 to 20 years. I used to just tell people, oh, just a few years ago, but it's not actually. It's actually now a while ago. But anyway, they actually had a go. They actually tried to find these things. And so what they did is, now this is as somebody who believes in, natural medicine, this is a bit much for me, but they injected people with radioactive isotopes so that they could have scans done, like an MRI scan. I forget the name of it. There's it's the one where they can, and what they found was that these things were traveling along the lines of the meridians. And they weren't, not the bloodstream, they were traveling along the lines of the meridians. And it was supposed to be junk. Meridians didn't exist. That was what they had said for decades. The scientific community was convinced of that. And now all of a sudden, lo and behold, these isotopes are traveling down the meridians, and they can see them now. And that took, of course, thousands of years to achieve, because intuitively, thousands of years ago, they knew that the meridians existed. And that's why I say, that's one of the reasons I say that a lot of times this route to knowledge is actually faster. However, it stretches people's ability to believe in it, because they don't always have the proof that you want or the evidence that you want. They just have basically results that you can get, but I can't show you these. But now we actually start to show scientific evidence and studies that are proving these things effective, which I think is amazing. And so the chakras is along those lines. It's a similar thing. So, so Julianne does Reiki in the sort of same tradition as the chakras, the sort of Indian tradition. They talk about a similar type of energy, which you transmit through your hands. I think it's called diksha. So I think that's a funny word, but it's just it's a transmission of that energy, that white light energy through your hands that you can give to somebody or an animal or anything. And so it's not the same as Reiki, but it is a similar concept of connecting to that universal energy that's out there, and then being a conduit of that to others. And it's not an energy that you're going to necessarily see with your eyes. It's something that you will feel, which is why it's something that has to be, why I said you have to feel it. You have to get the result. Like when I talked about what happened with my cats, when I received a session and then they received it, and it was like turning a behavioral light switch on. It's like all of a sudden, nasty cat, good cat, like within minutes. As soon as she texts me, I'm like, yeah, I know, because they're acting fine now. So thanks, Dale. And so it's something that has to be experienced, because there's no way that I could tell you or show you or prove to you. I can't even prove to you that she did a session on the cats, because she did it remotely and then just messaged me on Messenger to say it's done. I mean, she may have not actually done one, So I have no evidence of that other than the experience. Of all of a sudden my cats were fine. So do I care whether the session took her 2 seconds to do? She just thought of the cat and boom, or whether she actually spent 15 minutes on the cat? No, I don't care, because the end result is my cat was misbehaving and then it was great. It was angry, and then it's happy again. And that's really all that matters, I think, at the end of the day, is to feel good now in the moment, or the moment, is, I think, the most important thing for all of us. So, and for our cats. But as a last thing, what I'd like to tell you and all of that is that, one of the reasons that I'm convinced of this, if just take a look at history. There's a reason why the ancient Egyptians worshipped cats. There's a reasons why the pharaohs were buried with the cats. And don't worry, they didn't kill the cat. They always had a little tiny escape hole so the cat could get out. But there's a reason why the pyramids, have cats in them and hieroglyphics on them. It's not by coincidence. It's not because they're crazy. There's a reason why, if you are of the Islamic faith, you might know or you might not know that the Prophet Muhammad loved cats so much that he had a cat once that fell asleep on his prayer robe, and rather than disturb the cat, he actually cut the sleeve off. He actually damaged the robe so that he wouldn't disturb the cat, so he could wear the robe and go pray. So there's a reason why these things happen. Like Mark Twain loved cats more than you or I. He had lots more than we did. There's all over history all these things, and they're not random. The big difference is that dogs have the best PR. You have dog products, dog services, dog all over the place, whereas cat people are often in the closet. And so, but the truth is that cats are the number one companion animal in the United States, and as of a few years ago, in the United Kingdom as well. So
Yep.
in our countries where you and I are from, cats are the number one companion animal, more than dogs. And yet there's more dog stuff out there in the universe. Now, I like dogs, but I love cats. And so for me, it's because there's a lot of people out there that are like in the closet about their love for cats. And hopefully you realize that you don't have to be, but it's perfectly fine if you are and you want to be discreet about it. That's cool. But these things exist, these products, these services, people like Julianne who can really help you connect on a much deeper level than anything else. And remember, she's also a certified behaviorist. So if that's what you need, like just traditional psychology with the cat psychology, fine. She has that service available. But we find that there's a much deeper connection when you transcend that level of the mind and you go deeper to a much more profound level. And so that's kind of what I wanted to say to wrap it up. And so, Julianne, is there anything you'd like to, say or ask before we end off today?
Thank you. I think for me, the one thing I would like to say is that, cats have the capacity. They have the capacity to love us, to teach us. And, it's as humans that we need to do a bit of work on. It's ourselves. So, as you mentioned there about being a trained behaviourist, like I said, I'm a psychologist as well. So I've got that duality in me. I can look at the behaviour, the logical, the behaviour part of it all. But there is more. There is always more. And, if people are even wondering, about how to learn more about their cat, about how to deepen their connection, just even like get to know them more, get in touch with me, because I think that there are many ways that I can help people to support their relationship, to further their knowledge and experience. So, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, there's a YouTube channel. If you go to the YouTube channel, you'll catch all of the free replays that I have for webinars and workshops and things. And, my mission is giving cats a voice, and I will do that in every way that I can. So if you've got any questions about my services or products, get in touch. But have a think about what you want to do next with your cat. What is your next step? How can you help them? What can you learn? What can you look into? And, take a step forward in your relationship with them, because they will thank you for it.
That's awesome. And they definitely will. And, we like to say how to pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love here at the Kitty Boss. And so, of course, what we're talking about here is how to pamper your pet so that you imprint on each other. And there's, of course, many ways to do that, and you should do them all. Some of them are really easy, and some of them take a little bit more effort. And that's fine. Your commitment level is your commitment level. We're not judging. So no matter where you stand on that, whether you want to spend 10 minutes a day with your cat or whether you want to spend all day with your cat, it's
Yep.
all good. As long as it has a loving home, that's the number one priority. But if you do want to take it deeper, then Julianne can definitely take your relationship to the next level with your cat. And so her website, naturallycats.co.uk, is, of course, the amazing resource where you can buy her products and services, but you can also just follow her on social media. I do. You also have a Twitter, I noticed, but you're probably not as active on Twitter as the other ones, but she's on all of the social medias. And so I think it would be really great to it would be really great to just follow her, because I certainly enjoy her content, and and follow Kitty Boss too. And so we have a comment from a
Absolutely.
user. Now, I apologize that it says Facebook user. StreamYard has a thing where you have to first click and grant it permission to do that. And if you don't, then it anonymizes you. So I don't know who you are, but thank you very much. You say, great session. Thank you. I did purchase the book. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was best to purchase it directly. No problem at all. No issues. It's great that you have the book. It's just you have those options. And some people prefer just, going through Amazon and all that. So it's really not an issue. It's just great that you have the book. And so it's really great, and it's great that you enjoy the book and that it's valuable for you, and that's the most important thing. And so lastly, we have our friend Leslie, who saw me singing to Charlotte, says thank you both. So thank you very much, Leslie, for joining us today. It's been great to have you, great to have your participation and your, of course, positive energy, which I think we both feel. I did notice that your profile photo there is a dog. No, that's okay. We love dogs. We love dogs. But this is of course, the kitty boss, not the doggy boss. That's maybe someone else. I don't know. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Julianne, for joining us today. I'm excited to try the herb garden later, and I'm also excited to do a follow-up with you where we can go deeper into those other topics, such as the herbs and all of that. And that's awesome. Oh, one more. Yes, but I had 4 rescue cats. Awesome, Leslie. Yes. So on that note, I'd just like to say that people who do rescuing and fostering are amazing. And so I think that's a really, really cool thing. So thank you for doing that. I like to have a balance and show people that there's also an easy way that you can have a cat. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be difficult and all of that. So it's rescuers are amazing. They're like saints. But there's also an easy way to do that. And Leslie has more. He was my dog, but lost him before the first. Okay, well, my condolences. One of the things that we do talk about, quite often on the Kitty Boss is bereavement, because ostensibly you're going to outlive the dog or the cat. So if you need a referral to actually a pet bereavement specialist, an expert in pet bereavement and nothing else, then feel free to direct message me, Leslie. If you need that, you might be fine. I'm not insinuating that you do, but if you do need help from a professional, let me know, because I know and can refer you to a really amazing pet bereavement specialist. So that's just there, because we need to realize that we spend actually more time with our pets often than we do with even our children, because they require such a investment of time. So it's just an option there. Before the first lockdown. Okay. I thought before the 1st of the September. And then one more. So only have one 17-year-old cat now. She's amazing. Yeah, that is amazing. And it's amazing that your cat is 17, and long may she continue for as long as she wants to. And if you take some of the suggestions that Julianne gives, also some of the suggestions that we gave in a previous episode with the 2crazycatladies.com, they have a website as well. Take some of those suggestions and products, then we can virtually guarantee you'll extend the lifespan of that cat. That's kind. I'm okay. Okay, awesome. I'm glad to know that you're okay. You're okay, because that's the most important thing. All right. Okay, so I'm going to end it off now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And most thank you to Julianne for sharing your energy and your wisdom with us today. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, everyone.